how did you wrote in the book that you were 15 feet from the president and about 6 feet from Hinckley. And as you watched these events unfold, how did you and your cameraman, Hank Brown, end up on that rope line just 30 seconds before the president got there and these events unfolded?
Well, Hank Brown was not the sticks camera. We had two cameras as President Reagan went to the hotel to give a speech to a unit of the AFL-CIO. It was a nothing speech in the sense that it wasn't a major speech, but you cover the president wherever he goes, and so we were there. Hank was a roving camera, had the camera on his shoulder to take B-roll, that is shot audience, and we had a camera on sticks to actually look at the president and record his voice and his face. So when he was over, I said, Hank, get a few shots more, and then come on out to the rope line and we'll watch him leave. And just a moment or so before the door opened for him to leave, Hank got in place. Thank goodness. If you'd been late, Hank, both of us would not be talking because we're continuing to be ABC News employees. The president came out and we made a practice, not just with this president, but I did, at least beginning much earlier with other presidents. When they were in public, ask him a question that's pertinent. You have a news conference, you can't wait. President came out, he said, he's waving. He asked about, we were asking the question, Reagan turned to us as if to answer. And 6 shots right from later on, I had a tape measure, but not that moment, I assure you. John Hinckley Jr. on the line with his pistol, fired 6 times, and he hit 3 people immediately. That was Jim Brady, the press secretary. I saw him go down, the Secret Service man, and the policeman from Washington. And as we know now, one of the shots, as the great Secret Service lead agent, was pushing the president into the car. The limousine door was open. It was always open when the president was going to run. Ricocheted off of the door frame and into President Reagan's chest. We didn't know it at the time, and of course the car took off, and Jerry Parr, the Secret Service agent, radioed the White House that they've been shooting at the president, but the president, he didn't think, had been hit. They were returning to the White House. At the scene, we didn't have, remember folks, the iPhone did not exist in 1991. We didn't have radio communication, and we didn't have the walkie-talkie radios either. So I rushed in and I found a phone, fortunately, right there. No one was there, but the line was good, and I called the office, and he got this line that connected all of the important divisions in New York and Washington. And I said, because I have seen the movie Tora, Tora, Tora about 160,000 times, and as two naval officers in Pearl Harbor were going to alert the rest of the command that planes were dropping bombs, they said, this is no drill. So I said, this is no drill, and shots have been fired at the president. I do not know whether he's been hit, but others have. And they immediately put me on radio today because I fumbled around a little bit.
Sam, that day, as you say, it was first reported that the president had not been hit. And even when, in retrospect, even when the White House announced he'd been wounded, it appears they downplayed the seriousness of his wounds so as not to panic the country. Can you tell us about your conversations that day as the chief White House correspondent about what kind of information you were getting?
Well, so the limousine headed toward the White House, but Jerry Parr, the Secret Service agent, saw blood coming from the president's mouth, and it looked frothy, and Parr knew that was a lung shot.
Right.
That he immediately diverted the limousine to the George Washington Memorial Hospital, which was several blocks away, but within 2 or 3 minutes, because we did have a police car. I say I wasn't there, but that saved us, because at 70 years of age, Reagan could have gone into shock, everyone believed. Imagine a sleepy Friday afternoon, people are sitting, and without notice, Suddenly in drives a police car and a big, long black limousine with the flags on, and out
Wow.
steps the President of the United States, because Reagan, his aide later said, hitched up his pants. He went in public, he made certain hitched up his pants. He started to walk in the emergency room and collapsed, but they had him then. They had him in the sense that they were administering immediately, and people were on the line, and it was all chaos. Back at the White House, as you've read, I didn't go to the White House once we learned that the president was in the hospital. I missed General Haig, who was the Secretary of State, saying, I'm in charge here,
Right.
misstating the session, because my rule always was to be where the president, particularly when I learned that he had been hit, where do I want to be? In the press room at the White House? I want to be at George Washington Hospital. So I spent the day there and got reports from the hospital.